I had a really tough day yesterday, and I want to share with you what I did on this really fucking hard day, and how it was different from my usual routine, and what I learned about myself in the process. So, this will probably be a little bit of self therapy and processing, but I want to share because I'm really hoping that it's useful for someone else out there. And yesterday, I was just fucking done with the world, with life. I was so annoyed and angry and frustrated for a few reasons. I was sick for like the third time, super sick, probably the third time in a month. We've been potty training my toddler, which is like half a step forward, 20 steps back. It's really exhausting, and I feel like I wasn't making any progress. I was just exhausted with life, with, just keeping it all together, and it got too much. I ended up taking the day off, and I was just in my head about all of it. I'd had a really great day the day before, flying high, getting lots done. And so that was an additional frustration that I was like, how can I have such a fucking good day and then have such a really low day literally the next day, within a matter of hours, just feeling super low. I took the day off work and I decided to lean into it and just surrender and be with my feelings. And this is really radically different from what I ever do, what I have ever done in my life. Typically, I will fight it, I will push it down, I will ignore it. I will do things like go for a walk or do laundry or feel productive to just push through it, or check emails or try to meditate or pull a tarot card, which is like probably the better feeling activity there, coping mechanism. But they're all still things where I'm like doing and pushing and trying to feel better and trying to like get at that higher vibrational state. But really what they all come down to is like ignoring and pushing it away, how I'm feeling, and also resisting it. And I don't know who said this, but what you resist persists. And I really do feel like that is where some of my deep conditioning and subconscious patterning comes in. I will feel a feeling, I will push it down, I will move on, and then the feeling comes up and you push it down more and then you move on. And maybe that's why I got sick. So this practice of surrendering is really a Zen practice, a Zen Buddhist practice, and it tells us to just be with how we're feeling, observe it, and just witness it without judgment, without labeling it as bad, and just to sit with it, observe it, feel the feelings in your body if you can get past the anger enough to do that. And just be like, yeah, my head is thumping. Yeah, my heart is racing. I feel really hot right now. I want to fucking throw something at the wall. And just to be like, okay, that is what it is. And yet that is not who I am. That's just something that I'm feeling right now in this moment. So this sort of Zen practice is not something I've ever done before, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to lean into this. And I went to bed and I just cried. It took a second for me to get the tears going, but I just lied down there and I cried. I felt the feelings, I leaned into it, and I let the tears flow without judgment. And I only really wiped them away when they just kind of like overwhelmed my face and my pillow. And as I was lying there crying, I realized that it wasn't just that I was angry. Like, yes, I was very angry, but I think deeply under that tough veneer of like pushing through it and trying to do it all, and that whole get it done productive attitude, I was actually really sad underneath that. And I was sad that I wasn't doing things right. I wasn't doing things well. And it was like if I don't project that anger, like if I don't express that as anger or frustration coming out of my body right now, then I'd be a walking around fucking hot mess, crying my eyes out, just so emotional all the time. And that, I think, was what I was shielding myself from, was like, I don't want to be that hot emotional mess crying all the time. Therefore, I need to be angry and like feel like I want to throw things and just like rage at everything. So I cried and I cried and I cried and I just thought about the sadness and I leaned into the sadness and observed it. And it was deeply cathartic. Like, it obviously felt good. You know, I haven't been able to cry at that level in a long time. And I've often found myself saying to people, if I wasn't so angry, I would cry. Like, this was like a refrain that I would say in conversation. Like, if I wasn't so angry, I would cry. And I was finally crying and it felt really good. And eventually I fell into it like a deep, deep sleep. My body just shut down. And the funny thing about all of this experience was the night before this happened, I had a dream that I was at a pool party with some friends. And as I was walking up to the pool, I noticed all around the pool was like grass growing, like in these little tiles, kind of in these little squares, but like right up to the border of the pool. And I've never seen that before. I don't know why anyone would like grow plants right next to a pool. Could get really messy. But the grass was really overgrown. It was kind of dying. Like, it wasn't manicured nicely. So it was like, just kind of like, why? What's this? What's the deal with this grass? And then I proceeded to have an amazing day in the pool, just like soaking it up, having fun with friends. And then as I was leaving this pool party, I noticed that all of the grass around the pool was really green now. It was fresh cut, like it was manicured and sitting in its little square. It just looked so much nicer. And I was able to appreciate like the beauty of the grass on a level that I couldn't before. And I think really like what this metaphor of the grass in my dream was that it was encouraging me to go into my feelings, to literally dive deeply, to see that, you know, just because you think it looks bad now, it doesn't mean it's not gonna get better later. And it really encouraged me, that dream, in that moment, to like surrender and lean into the emotions, because I kind of had this like intuitive metaphor like in the back of my head, like things will get better. And by doing this practice, it allowed me to see a deeper level of my anger that was actually sadness. And it helped me understand myself more profoundly at sort of a new layer that I hadn't gone to before. So fast forward to the evening of that day, and I wasn't 100% better. I wasn't feeling great. Like, I was still thinking about things, and, you know, it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies, but that's not the point of this story. It's not what it was about, but I had moved past the worst of the emotions and I was feeling a little better. So I had read a line in a book recently that really helped me understand like these highs and these lows that we have more generally. And it went something like, we need, how did it go? So it was like, bad days coexist with good days. It just is. And this helped me to learn that, like, or really internalize what I'd known, was that without the bad, you don't have the good. In fact, like, it's like the whole yin yang, like, duality of life. You know, you kind of need both because if you don't have both, then you don't know what's fucking amazing and makes you feel alive and makes you feel successful and accomplished and loved and loving. and nurtured, all those like positive emotions, like we wouldn't know what they were if we didn't have the opposite side, the shadow that makes us feel shit sometimes. And to have the good, you also need the bad. So next time, or to have, the positive, you also need the negative. And that's totally fine. And next time, like, I'm having a really tough day, or like, I'm going to do my best to remember that. And next time you're having a really tough day, I want you to remember that I'm with you. And I also have really fucking shit days, but so does every single person on the planet. And that's the essence of our humanness. That's what makes us human, is like having the positive and the negative and the gut-wrenching days that just like rip you wide open, because not every day is like that. Some days are, and that's okay. If you just lean into those emotions without judgment, if you allow yourself to be with yourself in that raw state and just tell yourself like that's okay, you can feel it on a deep level, and you can see what it has to tell you about yourself, and get curious. Instead of resisting, you can just observe. And instead of pushing it away, you just kind of like welcome it in and be with it, and just say like, yeah, let's fucking go there, and just see what happens, how you can like alchemize that into something, some sort of learning to use in your future. And not all days are going to be like this. Some days will, but that's okay. It's all part of living. And until next time, ride free and keep living your freedom life, my loves.